to explore the future of CPAC globally, please welcome back to the stage Max Schlapp and Andrew Cooper.
Thank you. Am I going down on the chair? Am I going down on the chair? Is it going down? Thank you. Was that going to be a joke on the American?
So Matt Schlapp, you've flown in from America and you've heard a couple of fairly controversial sessions there. Does anything like that go on at CPAC in the USA?
Let me tell you what I just experienced over the last couple hours and really the last 2 days. You know what? I think that's democracy. And that's people expressing opinions, and I honor you for it. I think when a country, I watched what your country went through. I'm experiencing what my own country is going through, and I'm not really an emotional person, but it makes me very emotional. And I'm sad that people are treated like cattle, and that my 5 daughters, who by the way are unvaccinated, and so am I and my wife, my oldest daughter got into the college of her choice, as you know, Andrew. She's one of these kids. She got good grades. She studied a lot harder than I ever did. She got a lot better grades than I ever did. And then there was this barrier about what, after getting in, she had to reapply almost because she was unvaccinated. And I don't like the fact that heroes in our societies in America, they're cops, they're in the military, their moms, their dads, their teachers, you know, they were just treated like second-class citizens, third-class citizens. I don't like the fact that race is now used as a way to attack people. You know, the America that I was taught to love and respect was an America where people came from all over the world, and it didn't matter if they believed in God, didn't believe in God, what faith they had. When they came to America, there were a certain set of ground rules. And so we've had a lot of division, and the fact that what I can see that Australia has gone through, it's not the same, but it's painful. And what I would say is maybe the role of CPAC at these moments is to bring people together and let them talk. And we got to hold on to the pain of what's happened, but we got to figure out how to go forward, and we got to beat these mothers who are trying to destroy our societies. We have to beat them.
You mentioned you get emotional. I mean, those in the audience that saw Battleground Melbourne, oh my goodness, who had tears in their eyes? Then put your hand up. I mean, oh my goodness. You know, I come from the state of Queensland, and we've got our own problems up there, I can assure you. And to think that tens of thousands of Victorians are moving from there to Queensland with our problems just shows you what they think of Premier Dan Andrews down there and the authoritarian jackboot that he deployed upon his own population. It's upsetting and it's emotional, and the purpose of CPAC is to remind us, and Topher Field and those 3 brave warriors that joined him on stage, I think should be absolutely commended. It should be. Now, Matt, you, since we first met, you had CPAC Japan was running, and I sort of bullied my way into your office and convinced you.
It's true. You Aussies, you have charm. You get into the offices. We don't know how it happens, but...
I remember your CEO, he allocated me half an hour, I think, with the view that he'd be polite and then kick me out the door. But 2.5 hours later, we'd handshaked, and here we are, CPAC Australia. So it was tremendous. It was great. Now, since then, though, there's been quite an expansion. Can you just tell us about what you're trying to achieve with CPAC and the brand?
Yeah, so the fact is people keep asking me, why I had this great vision to take CPAC all over the world, and the honest answer is I didn't have the vision. The vision just kind of materialized. And if anything, I have never been that great at anything, but I'm good at seeing opportunities when they arise. And it was Jay Aiba, who has been with us this weekend, who started up his own version of CPAC in Japan and kind of told me about it at a CPAC. He said, well, I have a CPAC going on in Japan, and I thought, I'm gonna have to sue this Asian man who I've just met. He's stolen our idea, and then I thought, wait a minute, don't sue him. Take credit for his idea. That's so much smarter. So we decided to do that, and it's turned into, the Bolsonaro family called us from Brazil as they were getting involved in politics and said we should have CPAC in Brazil, and he named all these luminaries in the conservative universe they wanted to have come down, and they had an amazing CPAC. And we've gone to Europe, we've gone to Hungary, we have Miss Maloney in Italy, who's spoken at the last couple of CPACs, and now she's going to be the Prime Minister of Italy. So what we're seeing is that I'm not going to delve into the Australian political questions because I know the least of anyone in here. All I can say is this: your voice really matters. And in a society, in a civilization that is in as desperate a situation as it is, it's not trite to say that somebody in this audience can change the course of history in this country and the course of history in the world. We've been hanging out with Nigel Farage over the last couple days. The man lit a spark that gave us all hope and changed the course of history. We elected a president in the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, who's not universally popular. But he decided to say, you can't screw with my country. It changed the course of American history. And my wife worked for him. Jason Miller, I think, is here, sitting here. Jason Miller worked for him. And for those who worked for him, it wasn't very fun. My Twitter is really ugly. One of my daughters read my Twitter feed, some of the really golden oldies in my Twitter feed. And she's like, Dad, this is really bad. You should probably delete all this. And the point is this. I feel like it's been my honor to be part of this movement to give a voice to people, to change their countries, and maybe save the world. And that's what you're a part of. And that's the vision now. I might not have had it in the beginning, but I found it since then.
Yeah. And I think, they'll tell us in a moment, but I think from my point of view, it's been an absolute honor to be invited into your organization and having this opportunity to bring the great speakers down to Australia to get some discourse going here in Australia. I mean, is this a good thing? This is a good thing, isn't it? Yeah. I guess, it's challenging down here at the moment because there's a sense that we're heading in the wrong direction. We can feel it. We can look at the results, and it can be disheartening. And sometimes we want to lash out, right? We want to lash out. And I think what we're trying to achieve, being part of your organisation, being an affiliate, I guess, would be the better word, of your organisation, is that rather than lashing out, we need to organise and collectively make change together and do it in a positive way. And we can argue about the best way to do that, but I think with your brand, with the CPAC brand and the learnings, if people come with us on the journey to the other CPACs, particularly to Maryland or to Orlando, depending on where you're having it, the energy that you get over there is just incredible. And whenever I leave the US, I want to come home to Australia and I want to make a difference, right? And I encourage everyone to one day take a pilgrimage. Honestly, it's a pilgrimage to the US and go to a CPAC. And
you're all invited. You ready to go?
All invited.
Should we load up the planes? By the way, they run on jet fuel, no matter what all these people think, which comes out of the ground. You can't put a bunch of plants in the gas tank. They will go down. That will not work. I think the one thing this stage is, not this literal stage, but this figurative stage. In Washington, when we talk about that CPAC stage, you have to think about it. The next president of the United States walks on that stage. And that's humbling when you think about it. So for your CPAC stage, I got to listen to so many great Australian leaders. These are your leaders of tomorrow, and maybe some people who weren't here too. And what I always thought that stage, to honor that stage, don't avoid the controversies. Bring them up to the stage. Talk them through. Figure out the right answers. Figure out the people that can lead you to that next place. And you will be in a position to just beat the snot out of these leftists who hate us, who hate civilization, who want chaos, who want to destroy families, who want to sow discord. I actually don't know what they believe in. I ask this question all the time. Is it just nihilism? Is it chaos? I listen to all these smart people who were speaking. I still don't have the answer, but I know what our answer is, and I loved it when so many of your speakers said, we can try to define all these things, but we stand for things that work, and we stand for common sense, and we stand for respect. And in my case, I stand for the fact that I think God put me on this earth to do something. As Prime Minister Maloney said, not to be a number. I'm no cog in someone's machine. I'm made in the image and vision of a mighty God who loves each one of us and has a plan for us. And by the way, when you know that, it settles you down. And even when you go through the bad times and the persecutions which you all went through, persecutions, it's immoral, it's wrong, you can get to the other side of it. And so for your country and my country, Andrew, my country's in a dark hole. It's in a bad place. We have a president who he was here today would be walking over in a circle over here somewhere. And someone said, Kamala Harris, I often say that we have a president who can't read cue cards and a vice president who has no clue cards. It ain't good, folks. And the only reason it's good that they're laughing, Andrew, is because if I wasn't laughing, I'd be crying, because it's really terrible. But our countries are in the same position where we've lost power. And, people can say we have lost power because you screwed up, or you lost power for this reason or that reason. It just stinks. And the thing is, we haven't lost power to people who are just slightly to the left. We've lost people who are really far to the left, and they're going to do tremendous damage, and all of us are worried that we won't recover from that damage. And all I can say is I'm going to get up tomorrow, and I'm going to jump into this fight, and I hope you are all in this fight with us. I know you are. And we're going to beat them. And we're going to protect our kids, and we're going to protect our history, and we're going to make our countries great. And that's our job.
That's our job, Matt Schlapp. So you, as attendees at the conference and clearly activists, if I've listened to the last couple of hours correctly, we'll be making some suggestions about how we can, beat them, win this fight. And I do feel sometimes that we're actually in a literal war. And I get the sense here, Matt, in Australia and I think in the States, if they got total control, some of us would get actually literally slaughtered.
Well, you know what's happening in our country? They have control and they're putting us all in prison. They're putting us in prison for just what we think. I have these 5 kids. I had to sit them down the other day and tell them what happens when the FBI knocks on the door, which they could do at my house at any day. Think about telling a kid there. One of my kids said, Dad, what did you do wrong? I said, I did what I thought was right. And I was like, if all of us go to prison for that, then that's our fate. And so if your dad gets frog marched out of the house in his boxer shorts, which is really quite a sight, let me tell you, that's going to be interesting. That could go viral. You should be proud of him. And if we have to get through these tough times to get to a better day, then let's do it.
Yep, and let's do it in a manner that's better than the left. Let's organise. Let's be respectful. Let's argue our case, because history will be on our side, and you will be on our side too, Matt. I know, forever and a day. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Matt Schlapp.
God bless you all.
God bless you all.